drawn to this field of marine science and ocean studies because of the many different pathways that could kind of take me in. At South Carolina especially, there are a lot of students who go into policy and marine policy, or they go into conservation work, or they, stay into research. And with a marine science background, it's kind of this all-encompassing, you could do any kind of science you can imagine, so physics, chemistry, biology, and apply that to the ocean. And so as a freshman in college, I really liked this idea that there were so many different options with one degree, kind of the way that I think a lot of Temple students feel about a biology degree, that there are lots of different pathways that you could take. And so that was originally kind of like what drew me in. And then I stuck around because there are so many different really cool and exciting exciting new discoveries that can be made in ocean science, and so many new pathways that as a researcher, I feel like I can really carve out my own research niche. Very ecologist of me to say, but I can kind of make my own path in marine science because it's still a relatively young field. It's not as old as some of the other sciences. And so there's still lots to be discovered and lots of research avenues to explore. So that, I think, is really what drew me in and what kept me going in this field. Right before I came to Temple, I was in a conservation corps, the American Conservation Experience. So I spent 3 months kind of living in the woods, working on conservation work. So the way that program was set up is that we would kind of do, depending on the project, we would go and spend either a week to a month in a location, and we would go and we'd camp there, or we'd stay in park housing, and this is normally on public lands. So something else that another experience I've also done was working at Tate's Day Camp, which is a day camp in Knoxville, Tennessee. And while working at Tate's, I was a camp director and also an outdoor education specialist. And so while I was there, I got to basically design their outdoor education program. So this is everything from working with local animals native to East Tennessee, so learning about all of the different bugs in our region. But it could also be learning about weather patterns and general scientific principles like buoyancy and stuff like that. So taking all of these concepts and really tying them into East Tennessee and making it very local, so that kids who spend all day in a classroom then during the summer get to be outside and they get to learn about what's in their own backyard. So that then when they go home, they can be really excited to tell their parents, look, I know what bug that is, or I know what tree that is. And so I kind of got to develop this program for Tate's, and that was something that I was really excited about and really started this interest for me in alternative education and camp programming specifically, because there's such value, I think, in allowing kids the space to just get dirty and to play with their hands and to be outside. And so as a research assistant at Ambler, that's something that with the field station, that's something that I am really looking forward to bringing to the Temple Ambler Field Station, is some of these camp experiences. I know there are a lot of summer camps that are already running out of Ambler campus. And so once, in a post-COVID summer, I'm really excited to kind of help facilitate some of those. So all of these experiences were really exciting to get to. Through all of these experiences, it was really exciting to get to see a lot of different ways that I could be a researcher, and a lot of different ways that I could be a ocean scientist. And I was really excited by the fact that in each of these different experiences, I was encouraged to kind of continue to push myself and my research goals, and to keep discovering things that were interesting to me. And so now as a PhD student, I get to take that this idea of continuing to push my research and to continuing to just ask questions about what's going on in the system, or what is happening in the natural world. And I get to kind of take these experiences I've had with project design and experimental design and working with a variety of different organisms, and I get to kind of funnel that into my own dissertation. And so my what I'm working on in the Freestone lab at Temple is a project with sea urchins. And so I'm kind of looking at climate change and range expansion. So as the oceans are getting warmer with climate change. You're seeing mass migration of animals across the globe in terrestrial and marine systems. And in general, they're moving towards the poles. So they're going away from the normal tropical zones that they might inhabit, and they're starting to move into temperate zones. And temperate animals are starting to move into polar regions. And so you have this large-scale range shift that is happening in all different kinds of animals. So the purple sea urchin off of the California coast in the Pacific Ocean, they are experiencing some of these range movements. And so I am really interested in looking at how then their interactions will change when they move and when they are having these shifts. So their choice food item is the giant kelp. And so as the giant kelp moves, because the giant kelp could have a range contraction as well, where its range is moving farther north, will that also drive a concurrent shift in the purple urchin? And if the purple urchin moves, will its competitor, the red sea urchin, how will that impact that dynamic? And so I'm kind of looking at how all of these different aspects intertwine together so that we can better predict what's going to happen on the Pacific coast and better plan for management of these of these systems in the future. So something that I see as a benefit of the Temple Ambler Field Station and the establishment of the Temple Ambler Field Station is the fact that it's in this really great location to Philadelphia. It's a beautiful campus. It's there's so much wildlife out there. I was out there the other day and I saw a ton of deer, and I saw I've seen some frogs in the creek, and I've seen all kinds of different really interesting insects and pollinator species and the plants. And I think we have over 800 recognized or identified species that we've so far counted at the Temple Ambler campus. And so I think one of the benefits to the Temple community for having this field station, specifically where it is out at Ambler, is the proximity and the ability for people in the city of Philadelphia to experience the nature that is around them. Historically, all of Philadelphia would have had the same kind of ecosystems that we see out at the field station. And so by having this bubble of wildlife out there, we can kind of allow researchers and people in the city that otherwise wouldn't get to experience some of these natural phenomena to come to Ambler to see the way that nature is interacting around them, to get to know some of the species that exist in their own backyard. So one thing that I really hope to accomplish as a research assistant with the Temple Ambler Field Station is I would love to be able to help mentor other researchers from the Philadelphia area. So undergraduate students, women scientists, inner city students who otherwise haven't had these research experiences. And so I know as an undergraduate, I had such a wide variety of research opportunities that really helped me to discover what was interesting to me and help really establish this goal of mine to be a researcher and to have my own lab. And so one thing that I really hope that I can contribute to the field station is that kind of mentorship role that I had as an undergraduate. I know I got to see all kinds of graduate students doing really exciting work as an undergrad. And so I would love to kind of provide those opportunities for other students, whether that be undergraduates, but then also we are, working to establish programs for high schoolers and for middle schoolers. And with my background in environmental education, that's something that I think I can really help facilitate and kind of bring to the table. And I think that's really essential for our goals, because one of our goals as a field station is to provide educational opportunities, and that there are so many of those that we can help to provide beyond just classroom experience. All right, that's all that I kind of have for today. So thank you guys for joining me here in my living room. I really appreciate you kind of sitting down with me and learning about what I love about research and how I got to where I am today. Thanks.